This is Tommy Oliver. And this, and this, and this, and even this. Tommy Oliver is fundamental to the history and legacy of the Power Rangers. He was there at the beginning of the Power Rangers, and he has been there at the end of the Power Rangers. There's time stuff involved, don't worry about it. Many would say that he is the greatest Ranger ever, both in-universe and out. But what's his deal? Is he really that great? And what's up with his hair? We first met Tommy way back in 1993, the original. At first he seems like a normal kid who looks like a 20-year-old. Seriously though, they're supposed to be freshmen in high school at this point. There's a whole graduation episode 4 years from now, so with some basic math you could just... Anyway, he seems like any other high school student. But he also has super cool karate skills, which is how we know he's important. Unfortunately, the evil space witch, Rita Repulsa, sees him too, and she wants to use his karate for evil. So she abducts and brainwashes this high schooler to turn him into her evil pawn. Like you do. She gives him the Green Dragon Power Coin, giving him the same powers as the good Power Rangers, but better, because he also gets this cool pauldron shield thingy and the Sword of Darkness, which keeps him under her spell. He's all dark and cool and evil, and even worse, he knows who the Power Rangers are, and he sabotages their command center in Megazord. He even gets to be really big this one time. Anyway, he has a powerful Dragon Zord that is definitely not Godzilla, which he can summon and control with his dagger, which is actually a flute. He rides on its head and uses it to terrorize the city, but the Power Rangers hold him off with the fixed Megazord and destroy the Sword of Darkness, ending Rita's evil spell. Now free, Tommy befriends the Power Rangers and joins their team as the Green Ranger, and everything is great and always will be. Put a pin in that for later. So now everyone is best buds, and Tommy starts to get closer to Kimberly the Pink Ranger, and there's this whole budding romance, and look, I'm Ace, I'm not honestly that invested in this part, so... Anyway, Rita doesn't give up, and she decides to use the green candle to burn away Tommy's powers until none are left. Oh, also Tommy will die. The Rangers fight to stop her, but in the end they fail, and in order to save Tommy's life, they transfer the last remnants of his power to Jason, in the form of the cool pauldron shield thing. Then Tommy asks Kimberly out on a date, and they kiss, and I'm sure it's all very romantic and or bittersweet if you're into that sort of thing. So now that Tommy is definitely depowered forever, he kind of hangs around in the background, popping up to make everyone feel bad once in a while, until Goldar steals everyone's parents and takes the power coins, making the only remaining power coin Tommy's depowered Dragon Power Coin. In a desperate move, Zordon powers up the coin with his own life energy, leaving it functional but unstable. Tommy uses the unstable coin for a while, but eventually the power starts to weaken, and Lord Zed, the new big bad evil guy, also tries to steal Tommy's power, only this time, instead of a candle, it's a green crystal, which is 100% different, okay? Anyway, Tommy ends up losing his powers and is definitely depowered forever. Again. Meanwhile, Zordon works in secret to create a new Ranger to fill his spot on the team. Billy finds out about this, and when he tells the others, everyone is concerned about having someone new joining them, and what if they don't get along, and what if they don't have attitude, and who is this? It's Tommy, it's Tommy again, okay. Now, Tommy is the White Ranger, and he has the shiny new white Tiger Zord that he actually gets to ride on the inside of this time. So now Tommy's back, and the team is all together again, and everything is great. Obviously that can't last, so it doesn't. Trini, Zack, and Jason are selected as representatives to the World Peace Conference in Switzerland, meaning that they will have to give up being Power Rangers and choose replacements. As Jason departs, he leaves the leadership of the Power Rangers in Tommy's hands, as the strongest/most special Ranger. Plus, he has a unique outfit. Anyway, now Tommy is the leader of the Power Rangers, and things have reached kind of a status quo, and they have all sorts of adventures, and one time Kimberly travels back in time to the Old West and meets everyone's identical ancestors, and Tommy's ancestor is some kind of hot Lone Ranger knockoff. The White Stranger, which is all very romantically confusing for Kim, who is now in a proper relationship with Tommy in the present. Meanwhile on the moon, Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa have gotten married, and the first thing on their to-do list is destroy Tommy Oliver! Again! For real this time! This time they steal a lock of his hair, which they use to create an evil clone of Tommy as the evil Green Ranger. In a turn of events that they probably should have seen coming, the good Tommy convinces evil Tommy to stop being evil and team up together for good instead, since they're basically the same person. Then the Tommy clone gets sent back in time to Colonial Angel Grove and is never heard from again. Anyway, some nonsense happens involving ninja powers and ninjetti and power coins, meaning that Tommy's power source now comes from the ninja spirit within his heart. Unfortunately for his heart, Kimberly gets depowered and then repowered and then goes away forever to train for the Pan Global Games, a worldwide sport competition that is not trademarked. Kim is succeeded as the Pink Ranger by Kat Hillard, who also ends up succeeding her in love when Kim breaks up with Tommy by mail, and Tommy fails miserably to date anybody who isn't a Power Ranger. Pink Rangers are his type, I guess. Anyway, everyone gets turned into children for some reason, and must go on quests to meet their ancestors and to find shards of the Zeo Crystal, a powerful artifact that ends up giving them new Zeo powers, new costumes, and for Tommy, a color change to red, cementing him as the leader, because Red Rangers are just special that way. Unless you're Rocky. On Tommy's quest, he follows a magical falcon to find a magical Native American named True of Heart, who might also be the Falcon, and he leads Tommy to the crystal and gives him a mysterious necklace with half of an arrowhead. And I just have to point out here that Jason David Frank is in no way descended from any kind of indigenous peoples, and this is all kind of weird culturally, okay? Okay. Searching for the other half of the mystery necklace leads him to David Trueheart, a descendant of True of Heart, and also Tommy's long-lost brother who had never been mentioned before. So now he's around to get kidnapped in order to strike at Tommy via his loved ones. Also, Jason's back! Hey, Jason! Jason becomes the Gold Zeo Ranger, and they're a team again, and it's just like old times, but Tommy is still definitely the leader. He got dibs when Jason left the first time, no takesies backsies. Anyway, Tommy gets captured and brainwashed into thinking that he is the king of the evil machine empire, and the Rangers are his mortal enemies. He ends up fighting Jason in an arena, but with the power of friendship, the Rangers bring Tommy back to his senses, and save the day, and Tommy sure gets turned evil a lot, doesn't he, huh? So, Jason leaves again, then comes right back to get kidnapped by Divatox, the Pirate Queen of Evil, forcing Tommy and the other Power Rangers to get new powers to rescue him and Kimberly, who was also captured and now gets to have that awkward current girlfriend meets the ex, but one of them is brainwashed and evil at the time moment that's so relatable. Tommy, who is now a teenager who looks about 25, goes around with his new turbo powers for a while, but ultimately ends up passing them on to TJ Johnson and fading off into the background to live a normal adult life, leaving Rangerhood behind him forever. Okay, obviously this doesn't last, but right now I want to go all the way back to that pin we stuck in Tommy's joining the team, where everyone seems to get over the whole evil and trying to kill us thing really easily. Well, in another universe, Tommy doesn't join the team, instead going back to Rita and causing the destruction of Angel Grove, the Power Rangers, and pretty much the entire world. He gains both the white and green powers and takes the name Lord Drakkon to rule over everything, which is bad and all, but it's just an alternate universe, so everything is fine. Wait, no, there's a multiversal crossover. Alternate Tommy, as Lord Drakkon, decides that one universe isn't enough for him, and wages war on every universe and every Power Ranger, shattering the Morphing Grid in an event called Shattered Grid. Oh, and he kills main universe Tommy, but don't worry, he gets better. The Rangers of the Multiverse come together to stop Lord Drakkon's multiversal war, but ultimately fail, allowing Drakkon to reshape the universe into one where he rules, and everyone loves him. Even as it seems like Lord Drakkon has won, he is still troubled by a voice in his head, and in creating this world, he has created a way for that voice to manifest as Tommy Oliver, the one that died, only he didn't actually die. His spirit went into Drakkon's green chaos crystal and eventually made his way into Drakkon's mind, where he could insert himself into the new pocket dimension to stop Drakkon and collapse the universe around him while restoring the original universe/multiverse. You know, basic hero stuff. Everyone learns a valuable lesson and goes off to their own universes, and everything is fine forever, except for the time that Drakkon comes back to Earth to warn about the coming of an even bigger, meaner multiversal threat. Oh, and also the one time he comes back as the leader of a horde of space vampires. You really should read the comics. Anyway, the next time that we see live-action continuity Tommy Oliver, he's chilling poolside as a VIP at what seems to be a resort run by Bulk and Skull. Andros, the Red Space Ranger, calls him to organize a group of all the Red Rangers except for Rocky and take them to the moon to fight robots or something. After this, Tommy is out of the picture again until we meet him as Dr. Tommy Oliver, having gotten himself a degree in paleontology due to all of his dinosaur experience as a Power Ranger, and now he's teaching high school in Reefside. And it seems that in the intervening years, he was involved in a paleontology incident that led to the rise of Mesogog, a big lizardy evil guy. In the face of this danger, he does what any responsible high school teacher would do. He recruits a bunch of teenagers with attitude to help him fight the forces of evil. He even suits up as a Power Ranger again, this time in black as the mentor/leader of the team, defeating Mesogog and uncovering dark secrets. With 4 different Ranger colors and 5 different power sets under his belt, Tommy acquires the Master Morpher, a device that lets him morph into any one of his Ranger forms, Green, White, Zeo, Turbo, or Dino Thunder. Eventually, Tommy marries Kat, and they have at least one grandson, who is secretly not so secretly also a Power Ranger. That's canon. It happened in a Christmas episode flash forward this one time. Sorry, Kim X Tommy fans. Kim deserves better anyway. So what's so great about Tommy Oliver? What makes him the greatest Ranger of all time? To answer these questions, we turn to a numbered list. Number 1. Ability. Even before becoming a Power Ranger, Tommy is a highly skilled martial artist going toe-to-toe with Jason, Angel Grove's finest. He is introduced fighting Jason to a draw at the highest level of competition, which is what gets Rita's attention in the first place. Over the course of the series, he proves himself in more martial arts competitions and expositions, cementing him as a strong fighter even when unmorphed. With his morphing powers, he is even more capable. Using the Master Morpher, he can access any of the powers that he has ever held, giving him a power set unlike any other Power Ranger. Number 2. Longevity. Tommy has been around forever. He has the longest continuous run as a Power Ranger, bridging 5 seasons and 3 power sets, and he returns after that both as a Legacy Ranger and as a new Black Dino Ranger. His experience, skill, and knowledge from going through all of these changes and eras makes him a great mentor for the other Dino Rangers, and his presence throughout the Ranger timeline is impossible not to recognize, even across dimensions. In the Dimensions in Danger crossover, Tommy gets replaced by an evil Tommy Oliver robot, who is able to capture many other Legacy Rangers due to how trusted Tommy is in the Ranger community. It is only with the help of the real Tommy Oliver that his robot double is stopped and a team is assembled to avert multiversal disaster. Number 3. Growth. Starting out, Tommy is a hothead. He's emotional, impulsive, and forgetful, and he thinks with his fists. He shows off and he won't work as part of a team, taking his superior martial arts and ranger powers for granted. When he and Jason must retrieve the Ultrazord Titanus, he is forced to learn to cooperate, with Jason and eventually with the entire team. After Jason leaves the team in his hands, Tommy has to rise to the responsibility of leadership, taking care of the team and guiding them through danger. Eventually, his time comes to retire and leave the team, and he passes his powers on with grace and honor, knowing that the team would be left in good hands while he goes on to live his own life and earn his doctorate in paleontology, rising to the esteemed position of a high school biology teacher. Number 4. Leadership. Tommy has been a leader ever since Jason passed the responsibility on to him before leaving the team. Under his leadership, the Rangers face off against 3 different evil factions and innumerable monsters. After handing off leadership to TJ when Tommy leaves the team, Tommy becomes a de facto leader of all Rangers, being the one to organize all the Red Rangers except Rocky to fight Serpentera on the moon, and later he transitions from leadership to mentorship with his own team of Rangers. Eventually, he earns the respect and deference of every Ranger across all dimensions. Number 5. Heroism. Tommy overcomes a lot as a Ranger, down to the deepest parts of what makes him who he is. He must come to terms with the damage and horror that he caused as Rita's weapon. In the comics, he is tormented by his memories of Rita, manifesting as her voice in his head, playing on his self-doubt and fears about what the other Rangers must think of him. In the end, he releases his self-doubt and learns to trust his teammates, eventually sacrificing his own powers to empower the team when all seems lost. Later on, when Rita and Zed create an evil clone of Tommy as Green Ranger, Tommy must literally face his past self, and in facing him, redeems himself, breaking the spell over the clone and sending him back to live in colonial times to possibly become a descendant of himself. Then, in Zeo, he has to reckon with the Machine Empire getting into his head and making him think that the Power Rangers are his mortal enemies. Tommy breaks through this brainwashing with the help of his relationships with Jason and Kat, and must again learn to live with the aftermath of the evil he has perpetrated. Tommy is able to be as good as he is because he's overcome great evil and faced himself at his worst. Tommy Oliver is the face of Power Rangers. Across its many generations, Tommy is a constant, a fighter, a leader, and a hero. When threats arise that affect all of Rangerdom, Tommy is there. So when M. Bison teams up with Rita Repulsa to create evil Ranger clones, who do you think is there to recruit Ryu and Chun-Li as the Crimson Hawk and Blazing Phoenix Rangers? Tommy freaking Oliver.